tapping at my chamber door. Must be some late visitor, I muttered to myself. Only this, nothing more. Distinctly, I remember. It was in bleak December. The fire is still only with dying embers, as ghosts crept into my home. And eagerly, I wished to forget my sadness and my sorrow for my lost love, Lenore. My Lenore. And just then I heard it, a rustling of each purple satin curtain. It filled me with terrors like never before. And to still the fierce beating of my heart, I stood, repeating, "It is just a visitor. It's just some late visitor at the entrance of my chamber door. It is only this. There's nothing more." Sir or madam, my apologies. You see, I was napping, and so faintly I heard you tapping that I thought there was no one at my door at all. And yet, here, I opened wide the door, and I met with darkness and nothing more. And the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." And this I muttered into the darkness, and from it echoed back the same, "Lenore." Then again, another tap, somewhat louder than before. Something scratching at my window. Surely the wind, and nothing more. And so I threw open the window shutters, and there in flutters came a jet black raven into my chamber room. And it perched itself upon the mantle above my chamber door. And there it sat and did nothing more. And then this ebony bird drew from me a smile on account of his grave and strange countenance. So I said, "Tell me your name, little raven." And the raven said, "Nevermore." And I was stunned to have the silence broken by that one piercing word. I assumed surely his master must have beaten him or cast him out, hoping him to never return. And so I pulled my chair before the raven poised upon the mantle above my chamber door, and staring him eye to eye, I wondered, what could he mean croaking his nevermore? And I swear, I could smell her scent as the air grew more dense. not just heal. Again, nevermore. Well, let that word be our sign of parting. Bird or fiend, you lie! Be gone from this place. Leave now. Leave not a single plume in your wake. Leave my loneliness unbroken. And take your beak from out of my heart and your form from upon my door. To all this, quoth the maiden, nevermore.
Blood was its mark, along with sharp pains, the mind running in circles inside the head. And there was bleeding through the skin, though it was not cut or broken. And then death, the bright red spots upon the body, especially upon the face of the sick man, made other men turn away from him, afraid to try and help. And the sickness lasted from beginning to end no more than half an hour. But when Prospero, the ruler of this land, had seen that more than half the population of his land had died, he called to him 1,000 happy, healthy friends, and with them moved far away to one of his many large palaces. It was a beautiful palace with a great stone wall encircling it and large gates of iron for their protection. Prospero would provide everything they could need for pleasure. There was music and dancing, food to eat, and cocktails to drink. Cheers, my friends. Within these walls they would be safe. They could forget the sickness, the Red Death. They would leave the outside world to care for itself. Now, after 5 months pass, Prospero invites his friends to a masquerade to lift spirits, as these were dark times indeed. They were to wear the finest of clothes and the finest of masks. It was quite a sight to behold the richness of this masquerade. There were 7 rooms in which Prospero's friends would dance. In his long and winding palace, little more than 1 room could be seen at a time. And within each room there stood 3 tall, pointed windows of a beautiful colored glass that matched the room that they were within. Now, the first room had wall hangings of blue and blue were its windows. The second had wall hangings of purple and purple were its windows. as the minutes passed by, and at the top of each hour, the clock spoke with a loud, deep tone as beautiful as music. But how strange that the music stopped, and the dancing stopped, and the dancers stood still each time it went off. Nevertheless, it was a beautiful and lovely masquerade as the dancers danced from room to room. But once more, at the top of each hour, again the music stopped. Again, the dancers stood frozen, listening to its slow, striking sounds. And before the clock could quiet, the dancers within the first room, the blue room, gazed their eyes upon a masquerader whom had not yet been seen before. Who was this man, they whispered, and a feeling of surprise spread amongst them, which soon turned into a feeling of sickening horror. The extremely tall and sickly thin-looking man was covered from head to toe like a dead man.
His mother then died of tuberculosis the year that followed. Now, when this happened, she was separated from his two siblings and then taken in by the Allen family of Richmond, Virginia. Although they never formally adopted Poe, he considered them family and spent most of his childhood there until the age of 20, when his foster mother, too, died of tuberculosis. Such a darn thing. With all his suffering and loss, Poe found great comfort and company in the animals that he made companions, most particularly kitty cats. He grew quite a fondness of them, especially his own little kitty, Katerina, who later became his muse. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we give you the Black Cat.
Okay.
Order. Order in this court. You will now recount your heinous crimes in their entirety. You may proceed, but please start from the beginning.
All these years, wild narrative I'm about to tell, I neither expect nor solicit belief. For tomorrow I die, and today I wish to unburden my soul. Yes, for my immediate purpose is to place before the world plainly a series of household events that have terrified and destroyed me. I was quite young when I married. My wife saw that I had a love of domestic pets and said she never lost an opportunity of procuring as many as she could. Yes, we had birds, rabbits, a fine dog, a goldfish, a small monkey, and a cat. Oh, the cat was a beautiful animal. It was entirely jet black. I named it Pluto as it was the pet I liked best. My wife, being a bit superstitious, joked that the cat could be a witch in disguise, and so I alone fed it. And it followed me all throughout the house, and even in the streets. Yes, our friendship lasted in this blissful manner for several years until I started to change. For the worse. I grew day by day moodier, more irritable, more regardless of the feelings of others. I tried not to hurt anyone. You see that the disease, it grew stronger, and it took hold, and I drank more and more, much more than I should in the night. One night, returning home much intoxicated, I noticed the cat was avoiding my presence. And this angered me greatly. And so I seized him. And there, the cat, in his fright at my violence, inflicted a slight wound upon my hand with his teeth, a nip. The fury of a demon possessed me. I knew myself no longer. I grabbed from my waistcoat pocket a small pocket knife, opened it up, grabbed the poor beast by the throat, and deliberately cut one of its eyes from its socket.